episode 89 of The Beardcaster. My name is Scott Sykora, and I am Mr. The Beardcaster. Welcome to a podcast all about beards, mustaches, and the bearded culture, with all the fun stuff that goes along with it. It's about the facial hair lifestyle we live from our daily lives in the world around us and how we deal with life. So please join me as I share the stories about these people and hear how they are using their facial hair to do great and fun things. Welcome to the Beardcaster podcast. You can find out more information by going to thebeardcaster.com. There you can subscribe to the podcast any which way you'd like to. I have links on there. You can go check stuff out. I got products you can look at. There's so many things that you can go look at over at thebeardcaster.com. But today's super awesome episode is, now I just want to say, it's good to be back. I got lots of good shows coming up here. You know, you guys have been checking out the Talking Beard stuff that we've been doing. And as that's been going on, I've been kind of doing a little stuff behind the scenes, getting the Beardcaster all raring up to go again here. And we're going to try to offset it, so we'll be doing something every week here. But this episode, I wanted to do an episode all about the art of judging. Now, everyone that's gone to a beard contest has gone up in front of a panel of esteemed judges at these events, and they've been judged by these judges and so on and so forth. And I thought it would be really interesting to kind of dive a little deeper into it and find out from people that have judged, not only myself, but I also asked the two people that I know that judge more than anyone else, Aaron D. Johnston and Natali D. Johnston, and I had them on, and we talked about all the different aspects to judging, from when you start a club to your first competition to, like, you know, how you put it together to getting the judges. Then we talked about being a judge, all the different things we looked at. We also talked about really cool judging events that we've done, and just a whole bunch of different really cool experiences that being a judge gets you. And you know, there's just lots of fun stuff. So I wanted to kind of give a different angle to the whole beard world and beard competition, so I thought we'd go from this angle. But all these episodes that are going to be coming up are going to kind of be all beard related stuff, but we're going to have a couple other different type of cultural issues and stuff that come up in the next few episodes, because there's a lot of things going on in the world right now that I would like to address, and I'd like to help some friends out too that are involved in the bearding community. So I'm here for that. So if you guys have any ideas for any shows or anything, you can email me, scott@thebeardcaster.com. I'm always interested in finding ideas and stuff like that. So, but I just want to get right into this show. I don't want to be dragging on way too long here. And just make sure you catch me on the backside for any more additional information. So let's just get right into this, and action.
Beardcaster.
It's Mr. The Beardcaster.
Mr. The Beardcaster.
Perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better intro than that one, Miss Natali. So I am joined tonight by Mr. and Mrs. Aaron D. Johnston, which is Natali and Aaron. Everyone knows Aaron anyways because he is the second/third co-host for the Talking Beards YouTube live show /podcast. And everyone should know Natali because she is like one of the biggest winners in the universe, apparently, if I remember that correctly. What was it again?
I had the best beard in the universe October of 2017.
All right. So obviously someone had a better one in 2018, right?
No, I judged in 2018, so I couldn't defend my title. But that best in the universe beard actually went to Pam Barney.
Ooh, Pam.
Pam. And that was a Kate Beard in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which you should go to.
I think he was more referring to you being the intercontinental champion of the world.
Yeah, that too. Well, I was getting to that one. That was like the next step, because I'm just trying to introduce you as being like one of the most badass whiskerinas in the world. That's where I was going with that.
And the galaxy.
Universe.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly.
I thought Quinn and his double beard was the galaxy.
No, that was just against me.
Oh.
Yeah, I beat Double Beard Quinn.
Yeah, because his beard's dumb.
Yeah, he has chops. That's stupid.
I know. Why would anyone want to do that?
I don't know. I competed as Chops not that long ago, and I came in third.
Yep,
exactly.
That's right.
Because Chops.
Because of Chops.
But I did goatee at the same competition in a different category, and I won.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Goatee is better than Chops.
It is.
Well, everybody knows that.
Yeah. That's going to be a future episode. Why goatees are better than Chops.
I think that's every episode.
I know it is. It
I
is.
feel like y'all discuss that a lot.
But it'll
much.
just be like more of the main topic than just a side topic.
But yeah, okay. So Aaron is the. Oh my gosh! Oh geez, Natalie's dying. Oh my, you all right?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, Aaron is the #1 in the world natural goatee reigning champion currently. Amongst that is like his biggest title, but amongst others, he's one of the most, I would say, sought after fellas in the beard scene for judging and for competing, and just people want you. How does that make you feel?
Everybody wants me.
I know they do.
Especially you, Scott.
I do.
Yeah, I know.
I can't get enough of you. It's like we talk on the phone all the time, we text all the time, and then now we get to see each other and talk more.
Yeah, and you're usually the first person I text when I get up at 3:30 in the morning.
I know. So
and then I like
nice.
waking you up.
Yeah, because you're a jerk. But anyways, the topic of today's episode is all about judging. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking like being a judge is pretty cool, and not everyone gets a chance to do it, but sometimes some of us get more than our fair share of chances to do it. And I kind of wanted to discuss the whole process of, number one, how we go about picking judges, getting judges, what judges do, and then after that, talk about our personal stories about being judges and just all the assorted things that go along with it. So, but the reason why I wanted the two of you guys is because the both of you guys are like almost professional judges at this point, and you judge so many competitions every year, and it's almost like you guys have like literally flip-flopped from competing almost all the time to pretty much judging all the time. And I thought you guys would probably be the two biggest experts, quote unquote, right now currently to talk to about this whole process. And on top of that, Aaron being the co-president of what's the club you're in again?
The Holy City Beard and Mustache Society.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but being a president of a club, you're organizing events every year, and one of the main things that you have to do is you have to compile a really good judging panel to work the competition that you're putting together. And you want to make sure that you're putting together a group of people that know what they're doing, know how to do it, are efficient, and are obviously well respected in the community. So that's where we're going to start with this whole thing. And this is pretty much the first step when it comes to having or being a judge, getting judges and stuff like that. So Aaron, talk a little bit about like being president of a club, and when you guys have your meetings, and I can share along with this too, because I've been in the same position as you, but how do you guys go about picking judges for your guys' event?
Well, usually this is only the second year that Natalie and I have really been kind of organizing our competition. And last year we just kind of sat down on road trips and kind of talked about it. And that was really our meetings was that. Maybe we would text Jake. And then this year we've involved another guy. His name's James Pemberton. And really that's kind of our quote unquote meetings. I know a lot of clubs, they do monthly pub nights and whatnot, and they actually have, a structure and meeting and all that good stuff, but we don't really operate that way. But we just kind of talked, and we had a nice little list, and we kind of went from there. And last year we tried to do people that won worlds, But then we ended up having the opportunity to get Andy Teague from England.
Plus Austin did all world winners too.
Right, but we had already figured out, the whole Andy thing happened. It was like, well, we're not going to have just world winners now. But now, we have the opportunity to have Andy Teague, who in England, he's one of the biggest beard names. I think he's the president of the British Beard and Mustache Association, or whatever it is over there, as far as kind of like their alliance. Andy's the president of that. So now we had that. So then that kind of had, we had a big quote unquote name to start our judging panel. Andy has judged a bunch. He's a big name beard person. So then you move on from there. And then we ended up getting
Jackie.
We got Jackie Lynn from
the Austin Facial. Yeah,
exactly. So every year with our club, something that Paul and Brian Nelson got started just with their friendship in the beginning of Holy City was always having an Austin judge. And so I've just made sure that I've kept that tradition alive. And last year, there's no better mustache probably than Jackie. I mean, that's just, he always wins.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, who else did you guys have? I mean, you said you had other world champions, but who else? I mean,
well, we only do 3. So then our female judge was
Allie.
It was Allie. Thank you. So she's was she the vice president of her club?
She's either the president or vice president.
Sorry, Allie. So yeah,
she's someone important.
She's very important in her club. And so, and she's judged a bunch, and, in her own right on the West Coast, everybody knows who Allie is. So, that brought in another big name from a different part of the country. So that's kind of what we tried to do. We didn't try to just have judges from the East Coast, that you see every competition. And I feel like our competition's a little bit different from, most competitions. So that's what we try to do. We tried to broaden our horizon of judges, and that's what we did last year. And this year we've kicked around a bunch of ideas, and we've got a pretty solid judging panel so far this year. And we went with not necessarily world champions or national champions, but people of who's judged a bunch and who, I guess
notable.
That's a good word instead of, that notable people in the bearding community.
And I have an update from Allie. From Cali.
Uh-oh.
She
Breaking
is
news.
the vice president and the alliance secretary.
There you go.
Super high tech.
Super high tech, and that's what we did last year. We had that arrangement of judges, and
now why do you guys go with 3 judges?
To simplify, it's quicker. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, because usually most competitions either have 5 or 6, I think. Is that about what you would set? Yeah, 5, 6, 7.
Well, generally, you try to keep it odd numbers, and that helps with ties. It's not going to completely do away with it, but if you have an even amount of judges, then the likelihood of having ties goes up a little bit.
No, I understand that, and that's like for us too. Like when we were getting ready for our competitions and stuff, we would have monthly meetings, and there was probably about 7 or 8 of us that were regular members that would come and take care of all that stuff. And, we'd make a list of like 15, 16 people that we wanted to get. And we always tried to pick someone who was, I guess, quote unquote, popular at the moment, like who was like the big winners, who was like someone that was really standing out and who seemed to be like doing a lot for the community. So that's how we would pick our judges. And then, of course you don't want to like pick the same judge multiple times. So that's another thing that, at least we kept in consideration, and I'm pretty sure every club is exactly the same way when it comes to that.
Most clubs.
Yeah. Sometimes you see that, some club will have the same person over and over, and everybody's different, but in my opinion, I feel as if, there's so many people, why would you have the same person multiple times in a row?
Yeah, and going along with my whole thought process of, if the same people are doing it over and over and over and over again, it's not giving new people a chance to experience it and enjoy it. Just like for us, like competing and stuff, it's like, you compete and you compete. And, if you're like instance for like you're always pretty much winning wherever you go. And it's like at a certain point, you're going to get, as you're judging more and you're not competing as much, it's giving other people the opportunity to win, and it's getting the more new blood brought into what we're doing, and hopefully growing the community that way too. So
exactly.
So by the more, opportunities that people get to judge events, you're making it more enjoyable for all these different people to get the opportunity to do it. Now, when you guys are like picking judges, now, other than like, do you ever consider like certain competitions will have like a local barber or a local hairstylist or some local celebrity or something? Do you guys like to keep it strictly with the facial hair community because you think that those people are the most qualified, or is it just something that you guys have never done before? Because obviously people have these types of judges because they are qualified to talk about hair or this and that. Not like a local celebrity, but...
I feel like Holy City will probably never do a local person because Holy City does want more established people in the beard community. And I'm not okay with people doing that. It's comps, but I've also judged with people who were the local barber or sponsor person, and I've watched them judge and they wouldn't know what to look for. So people who would normally place higher due to the thickness or density of their beard would place lower than someone who had a really long beard because it just looks cool.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. But with ours, our panel so small, then one of our criteria that we've talked about is we want someone who has judged before. Because last year we talked about it, and there's a couple of people that did really well in Worlds or something, but they had never judged before. And so I didn't want, this isn't our competition is so rushed.
Fast paced.
It's so fast paced. It's not a place to learn. It's not where you want to show up and, I did really good in a bunch of beer competitions. I'm ready to judge now. It's not a learning ground.
It is one of the most fast paced judges situations. Like I believe did the scores yesterday.
I believe it is the most fast-paced. Like, absolutely. I've never seen a competition go by as quickly and as efficiently and as fast as our competition does.
Yeah, definitely for people who attend events and stuff, that's the kind of event people like. Sometimes when you do have a lot of contestants and you have 7 judges, and by the time you're done tallying and everything, it's everything gets drawn out, and what could potentially be a 2.5, 3 hour event turns into 6, 7, 8 hours, and people are like, antsy at the end, and then they just want to leave, and it makes for like a not as an enjoyable evening,
Yeah, by the end of the night, people are just done with it.
Yeah. When you guys are like asking people to be judges and stuff, and you guys are putting together like gift bags for the winners and the participants and stuff like that, do you guys do anything like extra special for your judges to like, like as a sign of thank you or something like that?
Yes.
I believe did we put a swag bag together for the judges as well last year?
We did put a swag bag together for the judges. Jake, I don't know if he did it last year.
He did.
But I know the year before, I guess he did last year, he made personalized little trophies for the judges with their names on it.
Yeah, that's just like when we went to in Pittsburgh last year. DG got us these really awesome like bottle openers that had the name of the event on there, and then they had all the judges' names like laser etched into the wood, and they were just super cool. Like I use mine all the time. I think it's like one of the greatest like custom little things I've gotten being a judge. But sometimes it just seems like, some clubs just really go out of their way to, but maybe it's just because they are that close to the judges, like you understand what I'm saying? Like you tend to go a little harder for your friends than someone you don't know.
Right.
But I mean,
makes sense.
I don't want to speculate too much on that, but I mean,
no, I think more times than not, when I've judged, they've done some sort of personalized little thing. Like when Natalie and I both judged Louisville.
Where?
Louisville.
Louisville?
Yeah, whatever.
It's Louisville.
It's not. It's Louisville. But they give out the wrestling belts for first, second, and third, and then they give the judges a personalized wrestling belt with your name and stuff on it. And so, I mean, more times than not, it's a nice, I don't know, gesture or gift or whatever for a club to give the judges a personalized little something.
But you don't have to do that.
No, it's not like.
And if a person expects to get something like that, if they judge, they're kind of, jerks.
Freaking jerks.
You shouldn't expect something for.
No. But I mean, that's the thing though, is it's just like, it's the excitement of being able to be on the other side of the table for the event and to like really, I mean, when I've had my opportunities to be a judge, like I get like super excited, and I'm really looking really hard at these beards and, wanting to make sure that I do the best job that I can. And that comes to another thing too, is like, when you're doing different events and stuff like that, you're having to deal with, like, at least for you guys, because you do so many, but does everything seem to be pretty standard, as in like the way that everyone scores, or does it seem like certain events are kind of like really just odd and like have a weird scoring pattern, or is everything, like I said, pretty much standard?
Some have a weird way of judging. For the most part, most things judge the same. You have sometimes a 0 to 10 scale with half points, sometimes 5 to 10, sometimes 7 to 10. Some places have where you just write down first, second, and third, and then you move on. Like, you don't even give them points. You give them first, second, third, and go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird.
Yeah, to each their own, though.
I've judged with a 10, a 9.9, and 9.8, 9.7 scale, but yeah, for the most part, it's all 10, 9.5, 9. Everybody gets one of each, and then from fourth on, just do whatever.
Yeah. Now on that line, like, you guys have obviously, I mean, we were discussing Brett earlier, but Brett Strauss from the FHL, the Facial Hair League, has a process that he gives out to competitions and stuff like that. So anyways, Brett has this app that he lets the judges use, and it gives a whole different type of judging. And you guys have both used it, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Now tell me about that process. How is that different than, I mean, is it easier? Is it better? What's your take on the whole FHL app when it comes to judging?
I actually like it. I know a bunch of people a couple years ago were all fussy about it, but it actually helps me judge sometimes, because you could pick your first, second, and third people. You get a look at their pictures also, which is really helpful sometimes with the girls, because they're not wearing their beards in their pictures. And you could actually see who was underneath that beard. But you pick your first, second, third, you do your scoring, 10, 9.5, 9, all the way down. And then if you see somebody else, you could skip somebody if you're not ready to judge them, so you don't have to immediately put down a score. You can go back to it. If you want to change your score, because you let's say hypothetically you gave someone a 9.5, and then somebody else comes through and you wanted to give them a 9.5 also. After you've done your original scoring, it'll let you see your scores again, And you could select from those scores that you gave people first, second, and third. And then when it comes to announcing the winners and stuff, it's automatically there. And there's no chance of like screwing it up by accidentally giving somebody the wrong score because they were going so fast and you couldn't see their number.
Well, I know, and also we learned too from Brett that Teja is the home of the Teja instrument or calculator. So he was inspired by that calculator to make this app run as smooth as one of the fastest, best processing calculator ever made.
I feel like we had this discussion literally a year ago on the Beardcaster.
Caster. It was almost to this date. It was like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, as we sat and tried and true while Aaron was getting his tattoo.
You're a poet and didn't know it.
I did, and that's why I did that, because I'm a poet.
Well, you're a poet and you knew it.
Yeah. So, but how about you, Aaron? What is your take been on the FHL app? Like, have you enjoyed using it? Do you think it's easy to use? Do you find it to be efficient and great?
I think it's stupid.
You're stupid.
I like it a whole lot. If you've ever done any of the fantasy things on the FHL app, it's pretty close to just like that for judging. And I like that because, I did a lot of fantasies. And then when I went to judge, basically I'd been practicing to do the judging. So, people go through and then you can kind of, like she said, you can kind of prejudge everybody while everyone's getting lined up and whatnot. And then, you see a person's beard in person and it looks so much better than the picture, or vice versa. You can swap them around and then, it does the little tiebreakers if there's a tie already, so there's no confusion when it comes to announcing awards, and it's pretty efficient. It works real well. I've never had any issues with it. I know when they first really started kicking it off a few years ago, that it was very glitchy sometimes, but I think as far as I've noticed, and that they've pretty well got all the glitches out.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, and I think Natalie, you did talk about this too, but he has like a whole like set of tutorials that you can watch to learn how to do it might have been someone else, but.
No, that was me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he has a whole set of tutorials that you can watch on YouTube that teach you how to pretty much, from each angle of an event planner, how to use it. And, if you're a judge, you watch this quick little video and it pretty much teaches you how to use it. So, I mean, anyone can use it. It's super easy. And, so if you're a club and you're interested in using the FHL stuff, all you have to do is go to facialhairleague.com and email Brett and, set up something with him, and he'll contact you. And, if you're interested. So, but, would you say, especially for you guys at this point, like, would you say that, or would you consider the next stage of like your beard journey has been becoming a judge?
Sure.
What I mean by that is like you've competed for many years. You've been to a ton of competitions. You've won a lot of competitions. Now you're on to the next phase of, you're on to your next phase of where your path is on this whole thing. I mean, you're obviously, the next step you've turned into is becoming pretty much spending your entire year judging probably more than you're competing, correct?
That is true. Yes, I will be judging a lot more than I'm competing this year.
Now, how many on average, we'll take it back about 10, 15 years. How many competitions did you do then?
In the past 10 to 15 years?
No, 10 or 15 years ago. How many
15 years ago, I did 0.
Okay.
Yeah, 0.
I did 0 competitions.
Okay, 14 years ago, how many did you do?
Still 0.
Okay,
yeah.
10 years ago, how many did you do?
0.
We're going to be 0 for a while.
Okay.
I just started doing this yesterday.
Oh. Me too. How do we meet? Dating site?
Tinder.
Okay. 4 years ago, how many competitions did you compete in?
What was that? 2015? Shoot, I don't know. Like, I think maybe we did like 6 that year.
I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't think I started competing in 15.
15
The
was,
age of 15?
Yes.
Oh.
That was when you did Austin, or not Austin, Myrtle Beach. Was 15, correct?
I don't know.
14, I did 1.
Yeah. So my point being, though, is each year you guys have pretty
Steadily
much
gotten more and more.
exponentially gone and done more competitions.
2015, I did 8.
Oh my God.
Natali did 3.
Wow.
4. She did 4.
Look at that. See?
What did I do in 2015? At Myrtle?
Competed.
Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Hampton Roads, Nashville.
Huh, 4.
4. See?
Yeah,
That's
see how
4.
smart Aaron is? He's just reciting this right off the top of his head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's that good.
Yeah, so I started competing October of 2015.
Okay, so in 2015, you did a handful of competitions. So now we're in 2019, and how many competitions are you anticipating doing this year? 50?
Competing or judging?
How about both? Give me 2 different numbers. They don't even need to be accurate.
4,000.
I'm going to say 13 and...
You can do it.
Just make up a number.
I know.
7.
Good. That's great.
That's 20.
20
Actually, I want to do 25.
25.
That's my goal. I'm probably not going to get there.
But I mean, that's...
You can do it.
You
I have
can.
faith in you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys can have a private one at your house, and you could have the cats. They could judge you.
Oh, no.
Oh, they
Larry
already
would
do.
win. He's got a beard.
The cats
Larry
would
can't-
judge you. Listen,
judging?
clean your ears out. The cats would judge you.
Oh, what? I can't hear you.
Oh. No. But, okay, so basically my whole point is that, you guys are now the next evolution of...
Pokemon?
No.
Got to catch them all.
Pikachu. No.
Ooh,
Beer
he's a movie.
trophies. Gotta catch 'em all. Beer
I want to
trophies.
see that.
No.
Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
That looks funny.
You guys are dumb. Shut up.
You're stupid.
You're stupid.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
But so you guys are pretty much the next evolution of where a quote unquote beardsman, beardswoman, whiskerina are going. So as we continue down the road, the people that are coming up will probably be, you guys will probably eventually end up working back into straight competing. And, because you'll have judged at every competition in the entire world. So probably in the year 2035, you guys will be back to strictly competing. So
Yeah, we'll have to judge every competition in the world before we can compete again. That's how
I
that works.
am actually going to retire in May of 2019. That is my plan.
What?
retire what?
Breaking news.
What was that? Breaking news.
Retire competing.
So is this a big announcement you're making right now that neither of us knew?
Aaron knew this.
Oh, Jesus.
This is
I told
breaking
him-
news.
I told him my
Breaking
game plan is I'm probably after May not going to compete anymore.
Ever again.
But Melissa Crafton told me I'm not allowed to retire until she beats me. But I'm also not allowed to do a half-ass beard because then she won't really beat me. I have to actually try. So
What's going to be your last competition then, Worlds?
Charleston.
Oh, okay. What
Charleston's the
club
weekend
is
after
that
Worlds.
again?
You're an idiot.
You got to say it 3 times for it to stick in people's heads.
It's Holy City Beard and Mustache Society.
Holy City Beard and Mustache Society.
Holy City Beard and Mustache Society.
See, I could say it without messing it up.
Well, I can too.
Holy City Beard and Mustache Society.
May 25th, 2019 at the Music Farm. Be
So-
there,
Simca
be
19.
square.
So everyone has to go to wish Natali a happy retirement.
Yep, and then she's just going to disappear. No one's ever going to see Natali ever again. The end.
Except for the other other 10 times she's probably judging the rest of the year.
Well, besides that,
Yeah.
I may not completely retire, but I'm not going to compete as much after May. Is that better?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Because I don't want May to come and then I decide to compete later and Scott's calling me out on it.
Oh, because it'll happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
he will. He remember? I have it in video or audio.
Yeah, we got it all right here.
It's right here on the Beardcaster.
Mr. the Beardcaster.
Dun, 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 dun.
We should have had Crystal on here with us.
Crystal!
She's busy being with the beard mob.
I know.
Beard mobs.
Okay. Natali, tell me.
Scott.
Hi.
Hey!
Tell me about the first time you were asked to judge an event and which one was it, and tell me about your experience.
My first judging experience, I was real excited, was Myrtle Beach in 2016 because I had competed in 2015 and they asked me to judge in 2016 and that just really made me feel good because it was my first competition I'd ever gone to. And I had grown a lot in that 1 year's time and they wanted me to judge and I just felt really, really special because no one had asked me to judge.
She used to be 4 feet tall.
That's what I was going to make a joke. I was going to be like, is she wearing high heels?
Now she's 5 feet tall. She's grown a lot.
Sorry, Natali.
The audience can't hear this, but I'm giving y'all dirty looks.
I know you are. That's why I said sorry, because we're like, oh.
I'm going to get stabbed as soon as we're done.
As soon as you're done, she's going to throw the cat on your face.
But it was a really fun experience. I had a great time. I learned how to, and it was a good competition to learn how to judge because it wasn't very big and the categories were, small enough to judge fairly, but still take your time and learn the whole process.
Very cool. How about you, Aaron? Tell me about your...
The first few times I judged were...
That's not what I'm asking for. I want your first one.
I have a whole thing. I have a
sorry.
thing.
You got a story.
So,
tell it. And action, go.
And action. So the first few times I ever judged were like group things at like Wild Wing cafes, or we do a thing at the Rockabilly Q, and it was a group judging, like our club or a couple people from our club, and we pull people out of an audience, and then we would just kind of whisper to each other, say that dude won or whatever kind of deal. But the first time I ever sat down and was on an official judging panel, I believe was in Charlotte for the Bearded Villains, and that was an FHL app. And then from there, it 2018 I judged a whole bunch, but that was FHL, and it was my first experience judging with FHL, and I did the tutorials with Natali, and so I was ready to go and knew how to operate the whole thing. So
yeah, I was trying to remember my first one, and it was at it was in the summertime. I don't even remember what year it was. It had to have been around 14. Not the year.
1492?
That's when Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
That was a long time ago, Scott.
Nina Pinta Santa Maria. One man with a dream, never knew for sure what he had found. One man.
What the hell is going on right now?
I've never heard this song before.
Said he proved the world was really round.
He was looking for India.
Ships sailing across the water, sailing across the water, sailing across the sea. Okay, so you got the 1492. 2014.
Oh, that 14.
Yes.
That makes more sense.
But, that was my first karaoke song, the Christopher Columbus tune.
That was pretty
you like
nice.
that? I know. The look on Natalie's face was priceless too.
She looked excited.
I know she did. But the first competition I did was with it was a local fella that drank at the bar every night. It was me and I think one other person I think it was a Whiskerina, but I can't remember exactly who it was. And it was a small little event outside in the backyard of some bar in the Lake Tavern in Cortland, Ohio. And it was a lot of Pittsburgh people were there, a lot of Cleveland people were there, a lot of Youngstown people. I mean, it was pretty interesting. And that was my first time. And I remember just being like super confused. I was like, oh my God, because I'm with two people that had never judged either. So we were all three people that were like, y'all
didn't have anyone to bounce ideas off of or anything. Y'all,
no, yeah. So, I mean, my first experience really wasn't like super duper pleasant, but that's what I really remember about my first time is, I wish I had more. I guess I wish I had more guidance into what I was supposed to do, and kind of. I'm sure I was, but maybe I wasn't paying attention. But yes, that was my first experience. Okay, so next question. When you've been a judge, and we just talked about your experience for your first time, give us a little story about your favorite event that you judged at. Like, which one is like really stuck out in your head as like one of the best ones you've ever done? That it could be for different reasons, which I'm sure you will tell us, but what's been the best one that you've ever done, Natali?
Come back to me.
Okay.
I gotta think.
What's the best one you've ever done, Aaron?
My favorite event I ever judged was the British Nationals in Blackpool, England. They absolutely treated all the judges like they were all, celebrities, and everybody was extremely nice to all five of us. And the event was really cool, and it was done differently than kind of how we do events in the United States. And I like that whole aspect of it.
Did they make you guys sit on the other side of the table and then everyone compete on the other side?
Right, yeah. So when everyone came on stage, everyone was coming up the wrong side of the stage, and we were on the other side, and it was really weird.
Very
and
confusing.
I had to write left-handed, because it's England and everything's backwards. So
and then you were like, you had to act your writing had a weird accent to it and everything.
Exactly, yeah. And now I came back, and now my phone even developed the accent, and it won't go away. And Alice was there, and she was like, "Don't you know who I am?" the whole time, and everyone's like, "Of course we know who you are. You're Alice." And yeah, so no, like the whole event, it had lots of breaks, and I enjoyed that. It was very long, the event itself, and then they would have a break and a band would play. So it still let the judges have plenty of time to mingle with everyone. And that's the only negative about judging, is you don't get to hang out with your friends as much. But at that event, I was still able to still hang out with everybody because we had so many breaks. And that was probably my favorite judging experience, was really because of that, was all the breaks. And it was really professionally done, and you were on stage, the same thing as always. But like I said, I still was able to hang out with everyone, and it was the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what my favorite event I've done a handful of events. It's mine kind of go up and down. Like one year I did a lot, then the next year I did like none, then I did a whole bunch, and then going into this year, there's potential for a few. But one of my favorite events that I've done, they've all been great, don't get me wrong, but the one in Pittsburgh last year, like that one was just, it was so much, it was like just a whole entire weekend of just awesomeness, like just hanging out as a group together and, being able to sit next to my best friend like the whole entire time and, just have fun with you sitting there and Felipe and the girls. It was so much fun. It was just a great experience. They were so good to us. And it wasn't like the event was like super big or anything, but it felt like so family-ish. Like it just felt like, I don't know, it was just different than any other one that I've done before. So that to me was like my favorite one. So Natali, are you ready?
I feel that.
Okay, so I don't specifically have a favorite one.
Pacifically.
Atlantically.
Atlantically, Northern Korean Sealy, New Mexico, whatever.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That's why you married her, right? Because she's funny.
Yeah. She's so hilarious.
Funny. People don't know that about me, but I'm really hilarious. Just ask me.
She is.
You don't know who I am.
Don't you know who she is?
I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, anyways.
My favorite time judging, though, it's not comp specific exactly, but it kind of is I got to judge 2 competitions in one weekend. And that was probably my favorite time judging. Because, well, I think that's just cool.
Tell us about those 2 competitions.
Oh, it was a Friday night and a Saturday night competition. Friday night was I guess it was St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm going to say Minneapolis, though. And that was for the Minnesota Beard and Mustache Coalition. I guess that's their name now.
They have a question mark on the end of their club?
Yeah, because I think it used to be the Minneapolis Beard and Mustache Club, but then they changed it.
Oh, they're a coalition now.
They're a coalition now. I think it's the Minnesota Beard and Mustache Coalition.
So they're like a gang.
They're a gang.
Okay.
And I got to sit next to Nate Johnson, which I thought was awesome because, well, they misspelled my name and misspelled his name, and because we're Nate and Nat Johnson. Just a couple letters off. Just a couple letters off. We have the same amount of letters in our name. They're just a little bit of a difference. And then the following night, we were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They have cheese there.
It's the French state of Milwaukee.
It's the French state of Milwaukee. And I got to judge again sitting next to Nate Johnson.
I came to that one.
You did. That was an NJ weekend. I am little NJ, and he is big NJ.
He is a great dude. In fact... Sorry.
He really is. I was just... No, Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I spent the afternoon editing a video of Paul Hendricks and myself interviewing him. Yeah, it was actually really funny. I should hopefully... I'm going to try to put it out by the time this comes out. In fact, there's another video that I think that will go perfectly with. It has something to do with, like, we were interviewing a judge at one of these competitions, and we questioned them about their judging technique. I don't want to ruin who this video is about, but it was one of the greatest interviews I think that I've ever done in my entire life. And
besides episode 48.
Yeah, well, that was different. You weren't a famous heavy metal drummer.
Oh, yes I am. Don't you know who I am?
Oh, sorry.
You see my videos on Facebook of me drumming?
Shut up. I can't remember, did my video beat yours finally or what? Because I just put a new one.
I think it was taken down because it was stupid.
Oh.
That's what I was told by my friend Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh. Your buddy, when you guys were having lunch the other day?
Yeah, we were hanging out, and he was like, Scott's stupid. You're taking it down.
Yeah. So, when you guys have been judges, here's another thing that people tend to do is they tend to, quote-unquote, bribe you. So they'll show up at the table, and since you guys really don't drink, Aaron, you don't drink, Natalie, I think I've only ever seen you drink once, people tend to, like, drop beers and shots off at the table, amongst other things. Tell me a little bit, Natalie, you can go first. Aaron, you can go first. You can tell me something like I don't know, the look on your face was like, oh my God, I don't know how to answer this. I got to think about it.
I already know my answer.
Oh, okay. Natalie, you can go first then. What has been some really cool things or stuff that people have given you, quote unquote, as a bribe or just as a gift or whatever? And when they give you these things, does it really affect how you vote for them?
It does not affect how I vote for them because it doesn't change how I feel. My favorite thing I've ever gotten, though, was from Sarah Willis. She made a beard out of, like, she crocheted, like, these cats onto this beard. And it was actually when I judged Pittsburgh. And she gave me one of her cats that she crocheted on her beard. And it is sitting in my beard room upstairs. Like, it was my favorite thing I've ever gotten, I think, for being a judge's bribe.
Well,
but no, it doesn't do what?
But it makes you, like, it gives you something to attach to that person. So it does. You know. So, how about, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but just because you're giving me something doesn't mean you're getting a better score. I'm still going to judge you fairly, whether or not I get something from you or not. It doesn't make it any better.
How about you, Aaron?
Well, I'm with Natali. It doesn't necessarily say, "Oh, you gave me this incredibly awesome Celine Dion CD, so I'm going to automatically give you a 10." But if you really do kind of think about it, if you have 50 beards that walk across your stage, and this one dude does give you a Celine Dion CD, it is going to kind of help you remember that dude a little bit more, even if not necessarily say, "Oh, well, he's automatically going to win," but really it gives you something else to think about and refer back to that person, and it gives you to a kind of a connection of some sort. So, not necessarily on purpose, but I kind of sort of it does really help.
Well, and that goes to the next question too. It's like being a judge. What is it that you look for? And when it comes to stuff like that, like, me personally, I mean, I look for, like, in certain styles or whatever, you look for the color, you look for the density, you look for the natural lay of the hair, you look for the damage, you look for the healthiness. And there's also another side of it too, is that's outside of the beard, and it's part of the persona that goes along with that beard. It could
presentation.
Presentation. It could be a costume, but it also could be a Celine Dion CD. I mean, it's all in the presentation of, like, for me doing that, it's just, that's what I do. It's like that funny kind of, like, I don't know how to really explain it, and I don't know where I even came up with the idea of doing that. But yeah, so from my angle of doing the quote unquote bribes and everything, when we were in Teja last year, I decided, and I don't know why, I went to the local used CD store, and I picked up a whole bunch of, like, really goofy CDs, and I think they were Michael Bolton CDs, right? And so each of the judges who I knew they were, I, like, say for instance, MJ Johnson. So I took a picture of one of the CD covers, and I drew MJ's beard on Michael Bolton. And then, let's see, Alice was up there too. And I drew, like, what her lasso beard looked like on Michael Bolton. And I drew Colin, the cactus, in the background. So I tried to make each one custom. So it's like just like a little gift that I was making for all the judges, kind of like, hey, thank you, remember me, just remember, don't you know who I am? And that, that's where it all stemmed from. But yeah, that's one thing that I've done. Like, have you guys ever given a judge anything?
I always just
give them buttons,
like buttons or stickers, and I mean, I've never gone to great lengths like that and to create a CD artwork deal or anything like that. But that's all I've ever done.
Natali, did you ever give away anything, maybe for something? I mean,
when I did my Andrew Kloss beard in Hampton Roads, I gave the judges
hats.
Taco Cat buttons, not hats.
You had to give them hats because you were Andrew Kloss. And
I'm Andrew Kloss. This is my Kloss knot. No, I gave them Taco Cat beard, but I don't think I've really done it for anything else. What I did creative, one time I gave out Mardi Gras beads.
Did they show you their boobs?
They all showed me their boobs.
Oh my god!
That's why they got their beads.
Yeah, that's the only way you get beads.
Works.
Everyone knows that.
All boobs all the time.
But I don't think I've given anything else out that I can think of, especially nothing personalized.
Well,
my God, you're making me. But see, now you're making me feel guilty that I spend all this time making these custom CDs for the judges.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, I've been given a few things, and it's not.
Yeah. Aaron's
abnormal.
got some really cool stuff. Like, he's got a Garbage Pail Kid. That's his name.
Yeah, I have a Garbage Pail Kid card.
Bras, panties.
Yeah, mostly bras and panties. And Melissa Crafton gave me a whole box of Christmas tree cakes. No, Christmas tree cakes. After they were no longer in the stores. That was pretty much the greatest thing anyone could have ever given anyone ever in the world, ever. And who else? I feel like, when Rachel was the Undertaker, she gave little Undertakers. Coffins. Yeah, that was cool.
Ooh, and when Rachel competed as the donut in Hampton Road, she gave all the judges she handmade donuts.
But
not real donuts. It was donut.
I want a freaking donut.
I know. Why couldn't I judge that year? I wanted a donut from her.
Rachel, we need donuts.
Rachel, we need donuts. I haven't seen Rachel in forever. They've been kind of a little bit out of. Well, I know they're planning the event, which like I said, I don't really know too much about it, but
it's a prom event.
I do know. I just don't know when it is and the details about it. So, as we just touched upon briefly, and me saying the few things that I look for when I judge, what do you guys like? What is your criteria as being a judge? What are you looking for?
Go ahead, Natali. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, one of the things that I always look for is if someone trims their mustache or not. I'll start there. And really you just go per category, so if you're looking at a full beard category, I mean, just naturally you're just going to look for fullness and length and, like you said earlier, damage and stuff like that. And partial categories, I'll start looking at like shaving lines and evenness and symmetry. There you go. That's the word. And I'll go from there. But really, and then you start breaking it down and looking at people's outfits and their hair and stuff like that. So if you have two dudes that have the exact beard side by side, and one dude's wearing a suit and one's not, you lean towards the suit because it's all part of the whole thing. It's part of your presentation, and it's definitely more about the beard, obviously, but you gotta add some presentation in there and some crowd response, and what do they do while they're up there, but if the beard's just absolutely better than everything, there's really it don't matter what the crowd does or what you're wearing. If it's the best, it's the best, obviously. But you can start looking at, little things like that if it's a really tight race.
Natali.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I look for density, color, softness. In the natural beard categories where it specifically says natural beard, if you shave and trim it and make it look nice and groomed, that's not a natural beard. So you may lose half a point for that. But for freestyles, I look for cleanliness, uniqueness, and complicatedness.
Lots of nisses.
Lots of nisses.
Difficulty nisses.
Natali likes to call those the three nisses.
The three nisses. My favorite is the Loch Ness.
Oh, the Loch. So that's the fourth niss.
That's the fourth niss. When it comes to the women in the realistic category, I unfortunately compare those girls to me because I know what I can do. And so I hold all realistic whiskerinas up to my standards. And there are some amazing whiskerinas out there who keep telling me that they are not that good. And they get on stage in front of me and they are amazing. So all you ladies, just don't doubt yourself. Keep trying.
Yeah, ladies, you can do it.
You can put a ring on that.
Put a ring on it. And the creative whiskerinas, I used to do creative too. So I look for, if it's a creative one, I prefer the whiskerinas to have it resemble the shape of a beard. I do not like square beards or abstract beards or crazy things like that.
It's hip to be square, Natali.
It's hip to be square. I prefer them to be in the shape of a beard in some shape, form, or fashion. I do not want to see how it is attached to you. If you have strings, that's fine. Hide those strings. If it's hanging off your shoulders, I'm sorry, but you're not getting a 10. Because I want to see it hanging off your face. I'm mean. I'm really, really judgy. Yeah. With the men, with the freestyle, like I said, I want to see it clean. I don't want to see no half-put freestyle because I know what I can do. And I know those men out there who do freestyles can do better, if just not like even the best.
Well, that's like how I felt about, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Scott Metz at the RVA last year, like him winning Best in Show. Like his beard, his mustache were so incredibly sharp and clean. Like I've never seen a beard like look so like perfect than his did that time. Like he honestly is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, other than you, Aaron, sorry, like beard guys out there. Like he's his look, his style, his everything is just A+ all around. Like I just love it. I love it.
Scott Metz is everything.
Yeah.
So funny story about Scott Metz at RVA last year, which was actually the Great American National Championship.
Yes.
Nope.
Best in Show.
Great American Beard and Mustache
Championship. My bad. As we were standing on stage, and I was standing right next to him, and that's when I did my tribute to Kylie. Excuse me, I yawned. My bad. To Kylie. And Scott Metz looked at me as we were on stage up for Best in Show, and he said, "I'm having flashbacks from Worlds. I'm going to lose to you again."
Oh, that's funny.
And I just laughed. I knew there was no way I was going to beat him for that. No way at all. But it just made me laugh that he said that. And then, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but after he won and he was downstage all excited and on his knees, his pants started to fall down. So thank you for that butt shot, Scott Metz.
Butt shot,
Scott.
Butt shot.
All right.
You're right. Write that down. Butt shot.
Butt shot. Hashtag butt shot.
Hashtag butt shot.
What else? Oh, yeah. So partial beards. When I'm judging partial beards. And Aaron can attest to this. I will get out a measuring ruler and I will measure your gap. And yes,
measure your gap.
Stupid chops.
I made Aaron trim his sideburns because he was, an 1/8 of an inch too short from being the full?
You're an 1/8 of an inch too short.
Yeah.
Like you're talking from the bottom of his sideburn to the corner of his beard.
Right. So you need to have 1.5 inch gap between your hairline and your beard line. And I was not there because I'm gradually letting my sideburns get longer and longer.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you just cut your sideburns instead of your beard?
I did.
Okay.
I cut my sideburns. That's what I did.
All right.
And
like for Worlds or Nationals or something like that, I'll take them back up. But
But he was straight up told before the competition, you don't take it off, you're not qualifying.
So I took it off.
Oh yeah,
babe. Take it off.
Yeah, I did.
Because I will, if someone comes up to me and their gap, whether it is goatee or chops or Fu Manchu, I'm gonna go by the ruling of I know that nobody else really does that, but that's how I feel because there are people out there who slowly are letting that gap slowly go in, and people don't think about that.
Like Aaron Johnston, that guy.
Well, and you also have there, and I know this from experience with, especially in the goatee category, the natural goatee category, you have a lot of guys that have come into the field that were full beard guys that just took a razor swipe off, right by their ear, and they're
by the rules. That's good. It's 1.5 inch gap between your hairline and beard line.
I call that the Butch and the Luke. And every time I see Butch and Luke, I give them a lecture. I'm like, bring it down. That's not a goatee.
And then that's, when you're judging those guys, that's how you score them. That's how you judge them.
Score them.
And I'm the same way. Like when I see a goatee, I grow my goatee how I feel a goatee is supposed to look. And I base my judgment on a goatee according to how I have mine, how Aaron has his, how Andrew has his, how Omar has his. Omar
and Andrew look like twins.
I know.
Oh, you should edit that out.
Nope, it's staying in there.
It's in there. It's in there. But yeah, so
sorry, guys.
Each as a judge, if you have a certain style, you're going to judge your category a little bit harder than you would any of the other categories. Especially if you have a bunch of guys up there that you've competed against over and over and over and over again, and you know all those guys, all their styles and stuff. Though those are the category I love, like, especially in Pittsburgh, man. It was like, I loved judging the goatee category. It was just so much fun. And congratulations again to Chris Toth on that win, because, I mean, he was really just this guy that came out of nowhere with an amazing beard. And I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Is that the guy who looked like he could be your uncle or dad?
Probably, yeah. He had the white goatee.
Yeah. That was your dad.
Yeah, it could have been. But okay, and now we're going to wrap it up with this last question. This is the most important question. Now,
4.
No, it's not a number.
Oh.
You don't.
Okay.
There's no number involved in it. It could be though. But what advice would you give to someone who, like, say, is like, this is going to be their first time judging? What advice do you give to them?
Pick out your first, second, and third when they walk around the first time, because for the competitions that give you a parade of people first, figure out who you like for first, second, and third, and focus on those people, because basically, first, second, third's all that matter, and after that, just let it go. Or, pick out your top people. Also, I recommend writing yourself notes, because I write down notes next to people, so I don't just automatically score them. I want to look at them, write down my notes, and then look at them again to decide if what my first opinion is still my second opinion.
What do you put in your notes, like grocery lists and stuff, or?
Yes, I put down some grocery lists. No, I'll write down. Oh, hold on. Deep up. I'll write down what stuck out to me about them, like something, so that I'll know when I look down at my scoring. Because on your score papers, you just have a list of numbers. You don't have people's names. For example, I just judged Whisker Mania back in January, and in the 4 to 8 inch category, I think it was, there was 54 competitors.
Yeah, those are rough.
It was rough.
Definitely the toughest.
It was the toughest. And I wrote down my notes of who I wanted to place where. So when they came back around and I double checked, I was like, yes, I agree with this one. I agree with this. I agree with this. And it was difficult, but you get through it. And especially in those bigger categories, it's easy if you leave yourself a note, because some of the other judges were actually having issues because they couldn't remember what number went to what face. Just saying.
Yep, there you go. She pretty much same thing she said. Bigger categories, I'll definitely write myself notes, especially ties or something that I think, these two dudes look close or something like that.
So you go by their bow tie or necktie, whoever has a better one.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I kind of lean towards the bow tie guys mostly.
All right.
But yeah, pick out your top 3 and kind of go from there. Those are the 3 people that are going to get the trophies and whatnot. So pick out your top 3, and the rest really kind of sort of don't really matter.
And I don't like judging below an 8, but in those bigger categories, I'll go as low as a 7, but I refuse to go even lower than a 7, because if you're going to have the strength to get on stage and make a fool of yourself, you're going to get at least a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, I've never given less than a 7 unless they just didn't show up and gave them a 0. But yeah,
that's true. If they just walk right past and don't even look, I'm sorry, you're not.
Hey, if I can't judge,
if I can't judge you,
there you go.
Yeah, so take your time walking across stage.
Take your time.
Take
exactly.
Your time.
You can rush across the stage because it's very nerve-wracking, but when you get in front of the judges, slow down. Mm-hmm. Show your numbers. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I can absolutely agree with you guys on what you're saying too. Like, make notes. Like, you got a piece of paper in front of you. If you know who some of the people are, I always write their name next to the number. So like that'll kind of give me an idea of like, all right, well, this person was so-and-so. I didn't know who the next 4 people are, but then I knew who the 6th person was, and I'll write their name real quick in there just to kind of give me a guidance of like who was where, what was what. And I thinking back and looking at stuff, I'd be like, all right, it gives me a better reference, and then I always tend to make notes in the side and everything, like grocery lists and stuff, and who was wearing a bow tie and a tie and all that crap. But, yeah, no, I can absolutely agree with you guys with that stuff. And especially when you get into these huge categories, it's like, it's tough, man. That's the worst, is the humongous categories. And anything you can do to help yourself, like remember who people are and make those decisions like right off the bat when they're walking up on stage, like going, okay, these people obviously stick out in my head real quick, put little stars next to those numbers. And so that those are the guys you're going to be looking at. That's how I do it. So, but yeah, I mean, these are just great tips and everything. And, hopefully anyone that asks to be a judge anytime in this next year or years from now, and they're asked to judge a beard competition, they can sit back and listen to this episode and pull some stuff out of it and get some good tips and some good information. Even if you're a competitor too, like listening to this, hopefully will give you some good insight of like what judges are looking at. Cause I get that question all the time. Like, random people are like, well, how do they do beard competitions? What do judges look for? And I have to go through the whole spiel of like everything that we said tonight. So someone that's new to the whole bearding scene, this should be a good resource for them to be able to, learn what judges do, the whole process of the judging. I know I just said judging. Like
it's okay.
I don't know. I was tripping over my words, but yeah, I mean, we gave a lot of really great information in here, and like I said, I'm so glad that I picked you two to talk about this because there's no other two people that I know of who've judged as many competitions, have competed in as many competitions as you guys. I mean, you guys are like Cal Ripken, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Basically, yeah. We've
Unser
done the
Jr.
we've done the most competitions in a row.
I was going to say that we were the LeBron James of the bearding community.
Because we're best friends with Scott.
Right. And he watches
like
our
LeBron
windows.
James.
I'm getting a new best friend.
Who?
Uh-oh.
Dare I even say his name? His name rhymes with Millardo Urvamera.
Waldo?
Yes.
You're dumb.
They had ice cream together.
We did.
Can I make a personal suggestion for future judges?
What?
Uh-oh.
Do
No
not
pants.
Please wear pants.
Oh.
Do not get shit-faced drunk while you're judging. There is nothing more annoying than sitting in a panel of judges, and I know it's for a great time. I get that. I'm there for a great time too. But when you're sitting on a judges panel and the judges around you are shit-faced drunk and not paying attention, it makes the competition go longer. And half the time, the way that they score is just... Sometimes there's not a score at all, and sometimes it's all over the map, and that can cause issues, especially when it comes to judging.
No, absolutely, yeah, and that you bring up awesome point there, Natalie. That was something I was like not even really thinking about too. Like, yeah, that is totally true because as I said earlier, you have people bringing beers up all night long. Most of the time, judges have open bar tabs that the clubs are paying for, so they got members bringing drinks and beers and
some people abuse that. Like when the club has an open tab, I've seen where people get like shots like every freaking round. And I'm like, don't do that. First of all, you're running up that club's tab, which is going to take money from the charity because you're drinking so much. And second of all, by the time the fifth category is running around, you're not paying attention at all because you're too busy sloshed.
Yeah.
See, I'm really a hater. No one knows this about me.
No, but see, you're exactly what a judge should be, though. I mean, you've pretty much like said everything that like every. I don't know, like
she's professional.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
And if you're gonna go do this, you should take it serious and be professional, and that's it. And some people don't, and that's really not fair to all the competitors, and it's not fair to the beard club that you're representing.
It's really, really not. Like the club has asked you to represent them as a judge on stage. You should be respectful to that club, to that charity, and to those contestants. It is a good time. We are there raising money for charity. If you're a contestant, get as wasted as you want to be. That's your own business.
Yeah, I mean,
you're there unfair.
You're there to be an example.
You're there to be an example, and yes, it's a charity event, but it's also a competition, first and foremost. And if you're going to be judge who is just completely drunk and not paying attention, it's unfair to, let's say, contestant number 1, who has an amazing beard and is super awesome and whatnot and has stage presence, but you didn't pay attention to them. But contestant number 2 over here, as drunk as can be and walked around on stage and stripped and put on his Speedos and I don't know what else he did. And you're like, haha, that's funny, 10. You're not looking at that beard. You're looking at what that person did.
So you're saying that's how Sean Logie does it?
I didn't even think about Sean Logie. That's how
you said
Sean
Speedo.
Logie, that did say Speedo.
That's how he wins every week on the trivia for Talking Beards. He comes out
wearing
in
a Speedo. Yep.
That's it.
That's
Speedo.
why I pick him to win.
Like, no joke. One day when I was judging Greensboro, I looked down to write down notes, and then I looked up, and Logie's Speedo butt was in my face, and I was like, oh, my God.
That was awesome. He was wearing jeans.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened.
It happened fast. Like, he's a magician.
Happened really fast. I don't know how. He's really good at getting naked really fast. Congratulations, Sean Logie.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I greatly appreciate you spending the evening with me talking about this. Like I said, I couldn't have asked for 2 better people to talk to about this because, I mean, you guys are the experts when it comes to this. I don't know anyone that's judged as much as you guys. You guys are just, like, all day long, you guys are judging people. And
that's what I do.
Yeah.
I judged the Barista Championships today for Starbucks.
See, there you go. That's a whole nother episode, but... But thank you guys so much. I love you guys both more than anything. I consider you guys 2 of my greatest friends out there. I mean, and all because of beards. So, pimp yourself, man. Where can we find you, Aaron?
Hi, I'm Aaron. You can see what Talking Beards. Well, every Tuesday now. Yeah. Tuesday, every other Tuesday, starting on the 12th. We will have our guest. Let's see. Will this be out before then?
Well, no. This episode will be the following week. So,
we had such a good episode with Taylor.
My God, Taylor was so funny. Oh my God, when he said that.
He said that thing. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
And then when he was talking about his boots, and that was crazy.
He was like, "Oh, check me out! I'm the Michael Jordan of bearding now because I have my own shoe line."
Such a great time?
I know.
Teja.
Oh wait, she didn't say Texas.
No, she said said Austin.
Austin, Teja. Yeah, whew, that was a good time in Austin.
Because this will air after Austin, right?
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Like, Austin was the best time ever.
Actually,
it was my favorite competition in February. What?
It's going to be a good time tomorrow.
This episode will actually come out while you guys are on your way to Austin.
You don't know my life.
So it's coming out next Friday?
No, so next week we'll be Talking Beards. The following week that we don't have Talking Beards, this episode will go out.
Cool. It was a good time.
It was.
Aaron D. Johnston, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher. Wait.
What's Stitcher?
Stitcher, where you can find the Beardcaster.
That's what I meant.
Which has Talking Beards on it, so you can find them there.
I'm there. I'm everywhere.
Sears and Roebuck.
Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah. People Magazine.
Yeah. Go ahead, Natalie. Who are you and where are you from?
I'm Natalie. Hi.
And you can find her on all social media as
Natali Johnston on Facebook.
I'll put Natali D. Johnston.
And it is not Natali D. Johnston. On Instagram, it's Gansta, 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 Nat.
_Nat.
I'm just going to let y'all know, though, that I do not do my own Instagram account. So if I do not... What? Secret? Breaking news.
She pays someone. Breaking news.
So if you send me a message and I don't respond, I'm not rude. I just didn't know about it.
Her online social media manager has to say, hey, check your Instagram. Someone sent you a message.
However, if I do like your post or comment, that is me.
Usually. Unless she says I like this, then that's probably her online social media manager.
That's my thing. You can't.
No, it's not. You stole it from me.
You can't take that. That's my thing.
Nuh-uh.
When?
You stole it from me.
When?
Really?
When did I steal it from you? On the bridge?
Remember that first time that you did it?
That was the first time I did it. I did it.
I did it right before that.
Yeah. Before I got there.
Yeah, I was like, I like this. And then you showed up and you're like, oh, check it out. I'm Scott Sykora. I like this. Remember that?
Yep. Okay.
That's exactly how it went.
Well, since I'm the oldest one of all of us, I actually started it when I was 8, and I lived barefoot back in the wetlands.
Everglades?
The Everglades. And I was
you
like,
live in
like
an air freshener?
Uh-huh. Febreze, yo.
Alligators. All right. Okay, guys.
All right.
Go to bed. Go do what you guys are going to do. Go make out. Do something fun tonight. I don't know what you guys do on Saturday nights. Watch NASCAR together.
Let's see. It's 9:17. We would probably already be asleep.
Good. Go to bed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I love you guys, and we'll see you guys.
Too.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. And cut. Thank you so much, Aaron and Natali, for the great stories and the great information you guys gave us about being judges. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun conversation. Number one, I just love talking to Aaron all the time, and I love talking to Natali. And it's just a lot of fun to kind of talk about things that you guys have in common, things that are interested in, stuff like that. And we've experienced a lot of all the same things. So it's really cool to kind of share these stories and, inform the people that are competing, what judges are looking for and all the different aspects you kind of need to look at. So, but I hope you gained some good information and insight out of this talk that we had. So, but like I said, go to thebeardcaster.com to find out more information about me. There's tons of links you can look at on there. If you're into podcasts, you can find my podcast wherever podcasts are podcasted. If you're into like cool YouTube stuff, you can check out our live YouTube show. It's called Talking Beards, and you can find that you can find it at talkingbeards.com, or you can go to Beards and Review on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and you'll know when we go live. So it's a live show that we do every other week. Aaron, myself, and Chris Odom from Beards and Review, we do it's a news show. It's like we do a little segment on news, we do a segment on competitions that are coming up, and then we interview someone who's having a competition, and they talk about their competition and what's going on with it. And then we end off the show with trivia, where we give away a ton of really awesome products and stuff that are donated from different companies. But Honest Amish has been one of the greatest companies for us. They've been giving us lots of really cool stuff. So make sure you go to honestamish.com and check them out. But without further ado, I'll let you guys get on with your lives, and I greatly appreciate the time that you've spent listening to this. And don't forget to tell a friend about the Beardcast or Talking Beards. We'd love to have you join us anytime we're out there. So until we see you, say hi to us if you see us out at a comp. And don't forget to ask us. We have limited edition buttons. So make sure you hit us up. Get the whole collection. All right. We shall talk to you. See you soon. Ciao.
Back to you.